What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns doing my review of Mafia 3 Stones Unturned. Obviously, because I have finished my Let's Play of Stones Unturned. All 6 episodes up in the playlist, FYI. And this is something I occasionally do. I like to review expansions, DLCs, even video games I've Let's Played start to finish. And as tradition with my reviews, we're going to go over the pros, the cons, as well as the verdict regarding Mafia 3 Stones Unturned, and you're welcome to chime in below in the comment section with your views, your opinions, your review of Stones Unturned as well. By the way, Stones Unturned is available via the Season Pass for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, as well as PC, but if you do not have the Season Pass, you can purchase Stones Unturned for $15 US, and it should be noted that Stones Unturned's price tag is the exact same as Faster Baby, both of which were $15, so that's pretty cool. And now let's get to the pros, shall we? More Donovan and Lincoln, which is one of the positives of the main story of Mafia 3. These two have such a bond, a chemistry, a friendship forged in the jungles during the Vietnam War, and you see it like front and center in Stones Unturned. So it's really cool to see more time between Donovan and Lincoln, courtesy of the Stones Unturned expansion for Mafia 3. So it's really awesome to see Donovan and Lincoln together again, kicking ass and taking names. The next pro is the expansion itself. It is a very decent size, not too small, but not too big, probably a little bit larger than the Faster Baby update, but unlike Faster Baby, whereas the deputies weren't really much of a challenge, the mercs are a different story altogether. They are a force to be reckoned with, and what's cool is there's a variety of mercs. You know, there's several different, types of NPCs. There's like Latin mercs, African mercs, Australian mercs, mercs from all over the world, probably even Russian mercs as well. And it's just cool to see this variety, this collage of mercs that are all fighting against you. And it feels like you and Donovan are basically taking on a relentless small army coming after you. And that's really cool. And it's also very salty, as some of you may have known from my Let's Plays. The next pro revolves around two of the new characters, courtesy of this expansion. The main antagonist, Connor Aldridge, who is definitely a different foe than Slim Beaumont was in Faster Baby, where Slim Beaumont was, completely unlikable, evil, vile, racist piece of trash. Connor Aldridge, actually, in his own way, despite being a psychopath, despite having serious issues, there is some sympathy when it comes to, his reasons for doing what he's trying to do. So you can somewhat sympathize with Aldridge as opposed with Slim Beaumont, which gives, Connor Aldridge a more, fleshed out feel and vibe to him as a villain, because he's not completely evil, but at the same time, he's trying to do something very bad. But basically, Aldridge's mindset is the ends justify the means for, what he's trying to accomplish. And, good or bad, you can still kind of sort of sympathize with his point of view, unlike Slim Beaumont from Faster Baby. The other character is Robert Marshall. Now, unfortunately, we don't get as much time with Marshall, but he seems like a really interesting guy. Kind of laid back, yet kind of weird at the same time. Probably someone you'd easily run into somewhere in the late 60s, former military, a bounty hunter, and, he has this attitude like, maybe he's had some mushrooms or some LSD, and he's kind of had like an eye-opening experience about the world. But at the same time, he is also a patriot, just like John Donovan. But he's also a very colorful, interesting character, courtesy of Stones Unturned. Speaking of Robert Marshall, we also get some new side quests along with the main story to Stones Unturned, which opens up after you complete Stones Unturned with Donovan and your quest to take down Connor Aldridge. You get the bounty hunting side missions. More on that in a moment. Then, of course, we have some new weapons, an improved grenade launcher, RPG, and, of course, the dart pistol, which also unlocks during the bounty hunting side missions. We get two new outfits, the really sweet combat-looking camo jungle, as well as the party animal, the one with the beach shirt, when Lincoln feels like just, cutting loose, going down to the French Ward, having a drink, listening to some jazz. The party animal outfit is perfect for that. Now our next pro revolves around the new fleet vehicles. We got 2 newish vehicles. Like I said, some of these pros actually lead to cons, FYI. First off, the Griffin Barino Sport, which unlocks after you're done helping Donovan out. And this is a really cool SUV. It's kind of like a Combat International, and it's big, but it's also extremely fast. It must have a huge engine under the hood. It's so much fun to drive around New Bordeaux and Sinclair Parish, as well as the Bayou. It's a lot of fun. It's probably my favorite SUV in the game that is part of Lincoln Clay's fleet. And then, of course, we also unlock the DeLeo Stiletto once we complete the Bounty Hunter side quests, along with Bounty Hunter decals for the Griffin Barino Sport, as well as the Stiletto. Then there's a new option you have to help you in the game called Sniper Support. It allows you the opportunity to snipe several people. Like if there's somebody nearby, you want them sniped and you can't quite get to them. Well, as long as they're nearby, yeah, you can use Sniper Support, courtesy of Robert Marshall. Now this pro is a lot of fun. Thanks to Stones Unturned, we now have the ability to take bodies, whether they are deceased or unconscious, courtesy of the brand new dart gun, take the bodies and put them in a trunk of, the Drifter, any other vehicle, drive them around, and then take them out of the trunk, whether just to leave them on the side of the road, down the bayou, or for gator bait. So yes, another fun new addition to Mafia 3, the ability to put bodies in trunks, courtesy of Stones Unturned. And the final pro I want to mention actually is from patch 1.08, which came out a few days before Stones Unturned expansion, but for some reason with these expansions, Hangar 13 puts out a big update, which contains a lot of content that is going to be part of the expansion. And then when the expansion launches, there's a smaller update that comes out the day of. So it's all technically part of Stones Unturned, including, patch 1.08 a few days earlier. So one of the things that we were able to do, courtesy of patch 1.08, which a lot of us have been asking for, is the ability to remove the rear view mirror and speedometer from, the screen. And now we have that means to do so. And some people don't consider that to be a pro, but at the same time, it's purely optional. So those of us that want to remove the rear view mirror and speedometer, we can. Those of you that like the rear view mirror and speedometer, you can keep it. In other words, it's a win-win. Now we move on over to the cons regarding Mafia 3 Stones Unturned. And yes, there are cons, just like with all my reviews. We have this awesome, mysterious island, right? It's beautiful, tropical paradise. It's a place that I would love to run off to one day and just disappear, kind of like Oliver Queen and Arrow. And we also have some new interiors in New Bordeaux in the Bayou, including the Cuban restaurant, the mall up in Frisco Fields, as well as the CIA base, which we venture into throughout Stones Unturned. However, upon completion of Stones Unturned, all that locks. The Cuban restaurant interior locks, the mall interior locks, and yes, the CIA base interior also locks. You can't go back inside any of those. But what's even worse is you can't even go back to the island. And that is very disappointing because at least in Faster Baby, we have Sinclair Parish. And upon completion of Faster Baby, we can still drive around and goof off and go off-roading and ramping throughout Sinclair Parish. So we still have that to go to, that location. But once you're done with the island in Stones Unturned, that's all she wrote. You leave the island, never to return. And that's definitely a con, in my opinion. The next con revolves around bounty hunting missions. By the way, I love the bounty hunting missions. The problem is there's only 3 of them. That's right. No more, no less, just 3. Once you knock those 3 out, it's over. So this is the way I would have liked it to have been. You have the 3 main ones. But once you're done with those 3, then you unlock repetitive bounty hunting missions. Just random ones. And, there's nothing specific about the targets. You just have Marshall, let Lincoln know, okay, we have somebody you need to go pick up in Frisco Fields or Delray Hollow or Tickfall Harbor or downtown or in the French Ward or down the bayou. And it just happens over and over again. It's repetitive, and it's just random NPCs. You just go bag them and tag them. You dart them, you put them in your trunk, you bring them back to the bounty hunting base where Marshall is, and you get paid for it. And then another one spawns, then another one. Yeah, it's repetitive, but it would have given the bounty hunting missions some staying power because you could always go and do another bounty. The next con is revolved around the sniper support. Now, it's cool to have sniper support. The problem is the range of the sniper support because it's geared similar to throwing a grenade. And as you know, you can only throw a grenade so far in Mafia 3. The same thing goes for aiming sniper support. And you would think that when it comes to sniping foes and NPCs, that you would want to do it from a safe distance. Therefore, if there's an NPC like on a hill or over here in this area you can't quite get to, but you want them out of the way so they don't spot you, that you could just have Marshall snipe them and you don't have to worry about them. But unfortunately, sniper support, like I said, the range is very, very limited to who you can take out. And I really wish that Hangar 13 would have made it to where you could actually aim the sniper support a little bit further than you currently can. Now, this is a con that happened numerous times during my Let's Play of Stones Unturned. And like I mentioned, I love Donovan. I like the relationship he and Lincoln Clay have. It's awesome. They have great chemistry together. But I do not like the repetitive dialogue that Donovan has. He'll say something, and then 5 seconds later, he'll say it over and over and over and over again. It gets annoying. Like, Donovan, I heard you 5 seconds ago. And it's just tiresome. After a while, you just get tired of hearing him saying the same line every 5 seconds. And I kid you not, it happens. Now, it'd be okay if it was like cooled down a little bit to where he did it like once a minute or once every 2 minutes. But it felt like the consistency of these lines was just a little too numerous. And Hangar 13 should have seriously cut it back. I don't know how you do that because I'm not a developer. But I think that the dialogue for whenever you're doing missions and firefights, having to get to an objective, they should have like spaced it a little bit better than just having him nagging you about it every 5 to 10 seconds. The next con is something several of you actually brought up regarding one of the new vehicles, well, newish vehicles, courtesy of Stones Unturned, the DeLeo Stiletto. Yes, the DeLeo Stiletto is not really a new vehicle in Mafia 3. It's a non-fleet vehicle, or it was a non-fleet vehicle. But once you are done with bounty hunting, it finally unlocks and you're able to add it to Lincoln Clay's fleet and you're able to customize it at Big Rick's. Now, what's interesting is the Stiletto is one of my 10 non-fleet vehicles that I wanted to eventually see added to Lincoln Clay's fleet. So I kind of got my wish on that one. But at the same time, I feel the same way most of you do about the DeLeo Stiletto, is that it should have been a fleet vehicle anyways, and that we should have had a completely new vehicle unlock after the bounty hunting missions were over and done. Well, at least the 3 main ones, because I would have, like I mentioned, would have liked a little bit of repetitive missions as well. So I'm anti-repetitive dialogue, but I wouldn't mind repetitive bounty hunting. Go figure, right? There was also some graphical issues I noticed. Now, not everyone noticed it. It was just me so far. Like during one of the cutscenes, between the first time you confront Aldridge with Lincoln and Donovan at the CIA base, the lighting was like really, really bright. But others have told me that the lighting was normal whenever they had the cutscenes. So for whatever rhyme or reason, it was much brighter for me than for everyone else. I don't know why that was the case. I don't know, graphic gremlins in my Xbox One causing problems. I really don't know what the problem is on that. But I also noticed some issues with the skybox. What else is new? For some reason, the skybox has always been kind of, hit or miss with most fans of Mafia 3, especially when you go back and you play an older game like Red Dead Redemption. Like the other night, I was playing it with some friends, and I noticed how beautiful the skybox in Red Dead Redemption still is. And then you play Mafia 3, which is, not even a year old, and it just leaves a lot to be desired when it comes to the Mafia 3 skybox. And there's some parts during my Let's Play where it's pretty obvious that there's some issues there. And the final con regarding Stones Unturned revolves around the Xbox One Season Pass issue. It didn't affect everybody, but those of us that are gamers on the Xbox One for Mafia 3 that had the Season Pass, yeah, I think this definitely is worth being a con regarding this expansion. So Stones Unturned came out Tuesday morning for all consoles and PC. and was available to download or purchase on all those consoles except for one. You could buy Stones Unturned on Xbox One, but if you were a Season Pass holder, there was no way to simply download it. It was listed at $15, and some people unintentionally, purchased the expansion when they already had the Season Pass. So this caused kind of a ruckus, a little bit of a backlash towards Hangar 13 and 2K. And it took several hours before this issue was finally resolved, till probably, I would say, about 9 p.m. Central Time Tuesday night. So at least, like 6-7 plus hours went by before this problem was finally rectified, and Xbox One Mafia 3 Season Pass holders were able to finally download and play Stones Unturned, including myself. Now, I don't know who's to blame for this, whether or not it was Hangar 13, 2K, or Microsoft. The point is, it happened, and it shouldn't have happened to begin with. So it's definitely something I wanted to include as a con regarding Mafia 3 Stones Unturned, and hopefully that won't happen when it comes to the third and final expansion for Mafia 3 coming up in late July. Alright, so there's my pros and my cons. Time for the verdict regarding Mafia 3 Stones Unturned. In my opinion, I believe that so far, Stones Unturned is the best Mafia 3 expansion. We get more time between Lincoln Clay and Donovan, which is always a good thing, despite, Donovan throwing out some very, repetitive dialogue during firefights over and over and over again. And, of course, some issues graphically that just can't be ignored. Stones Unturned is a very fun and intense expansion, putting Lincoln Clay's full military prowess on display, giving us a real vibe of what it was like for Lincoln Clay and Donovan during Vietnam. And this is something that a lot of Mafia 3 fans were wanting. Similar to Vito at the beginning of Mafia 2, we see him during World War II, during his combat experience when he was serving in the U.S. Army, fighting the fascist Italians. We get to see, a little taste of that with Lincoln Clay and Donovan in Stones Unturned as they took on Aldridge and his mercs on the mysterious island that we never get to go to again. Alright, so there's my verdict regarding Mafia 3 Stones Unturned, which, as I mentioned, is the best expansion to Mafia 3 thus far, with one expansion still to go, which will be Sign of the Times, coming up in late July. By the way, I will be Let's Playing, as well as doing a review on Sign of the Times. And now that you have my review of Stones Unturned, I want to know what you think about it. Let me know below in the comment section your views, your thoughts, your opinions, your review of Mafia 3 Stones Unturned.